I can still see it clearly. Not that long ago, every single morning, I boiled 2 eggs and sat down believing I was doing exactly what my body needed. For decades, we were told eggs were the gold standard for protein. Doctors said it, articles said it, everyone said it. So I never questioned it. Then, during a routine checkup, my doctor looked at me and asked one simple question. Are you sure you are getting enough protein to keep your muscles strong? I smiled and said, of course. I eat eggs every day. He did not smile back. He paused, shook his head slowly, and that silence landed harder than any lecture. Because that was the moment I realized something most people over 60 never hear clearly. Eggs are a good source of protein, but they are not the best. And believing they are can quietly put your muscles at risk. Here is the part that should concern you. When protein runs low, muscle loss does not announce itself. There is no warning bell. It happens silently. Your steps shorten. Your legs feel less steady. Getting up from a chair takes more effort than it used to. And the risk of falling starts creeping up without you realizing why. Research shows that after 60, the body becomes less efficient at using protein, which means the same habits that worked at 40 no longer protect muscle the way you think they do. That is why relying on eggs alone can leave a dangerous gap, even if you feel like you are eating right. Before we go any further, tell me in the comments where you are watching from, and be honest with yourself for a moment. Has your energy felt lower lately, even though your routine has not changed? Here is the reality most people over 60 never see coming. Muscle loss does not arrive with pain or a diagnosis. It arrives quietly. One day, you notice your legs feel weaker. Your steps shorten without you meaning to. You pause longer before standing up. Balance feels less automatic. And suddenly the risk of falling is no longer theoretical. It is part of everyday life. This is not about looking fit or lifting weights. This is about survival skills. Standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, staying steady on your feet when no one is around to help. Science is very clear on this. After 60, muscle tissue becomes less responsive. That means your body needs better building signals to maintain strength. Protein is not just food. Protein is raw material. It is what your muscles use to repair themselves every single day. And when that supply quietly runs low, your body does not complain. It adapts downward. You move less. You trust your legs less. Independence starts slipping without drama, without headlines, without warning. This is why protein quality matters far more than most people realize at this age. Eating something with protein is not the same as giving your muscles what they can actually use. Many older adults consume enough calories, but not enough usable protein. And that gap is where weakness grows. Not overnight, gradually, silently. To keep this fair and grounded in real numbers, every food in this video is compared the same way. Protein per 100 grams in the form you actually buy and eat. A whole egg provides roughly 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is our reference point. For dry foods like grains, seeds, and powders, the measurement is dry weight. For wet foods like yogurt, it is measured as is. This removes marketing tricks and keeps the comparison honest. No exaggeration, no hype. Just what your muscles actually receive. When you understand this shift, everything changes. This is no longer about choosing foods you like. It becomes about protecting your ability to move, to stay steady, and to live on your own terms. Before we go any further, I want you to stop listening for a moment and feel this in your own body. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. If you need support, keep one hand lightly on the chair or a countertop. Now stand up and sit down 5 times at a comfortable pace. No rushing, just smooth, controlled movement. If that felt harder than you expected, if your legs shook, if you had to push off with your arms, do not judge yourself. This is not a test you pass or fail. It is information. What your body is telling you matters more than any chart or headline. Shaking legs do not mean you are weak-minded or lazy. They often mean your muscles are not getting enough building material to do their job. After 60, Strength does not disappear because you stop trying. It fades when muscles are asked to work without the raw materials they need to repair and support you. Protein is one of those materials. When it runs low, your body adapts quietly. Movements that used to feel automatic start demanding more effort. This simple chair stand shows something science has confirmed again and again. Functional strength declines before people notice it in daily life. And the earlier you catch it, the easier it is to reverse. Nothing dramatic, nothing extreme, just the right signal, given consistently. What you just felt is not a problem. It is a warning you can still act on. If you just tried the sit-to-stand test and felt your legs shake a little, do not worry. Write, "I tried," in the comments, so I know you are practicing along with me. The truth is, this is something we can absolutely improve with the right nutrition. Food number 10, Greek yogurt. Per 100 grams, plain non-fat strained Greek yogurt delivers around 10 grams of protein, sometimes slightly more depending on the brand. That number may not sound dramatic at first, but here is why it matters after 60. Greek yogurt is quietly powerful because of how it is made. The straining process removes much of the extra liquid, leaving behind a thicker food with a higher protein concentration and a texture that is easier to digest than regular yogurt. As we age, digestion slows and appetite drops. Foods that are easy to eat and easy to absorb become critical. This is not just about protein quantity, it is about usability. Greek yogurt provides protein in a form your body can actually work with, especially when chewing tougher foods feels tiring or unappealing. For many older adults, this alone makes the difference between getting protein consistently or skipping it altogether. Here is how to use it so it supports strength instead of sabotaging it. Choose plain, non-fat, strained Greek yogurt. Avoid the fruit on the bottom versions loaded with added sugar that crowd out the benefit. Use it as a protein base. Stir in a handful of berries. Add a spoon of ground flaxseed. Mix in cinnamon and chopped nuts. You can also go savory. A pinch of salt, pepper, and herbs turns it into a creamy topping for vegetables or a simple dip. On days when your appetite is low or chewing feels like work, Greek yogurt becomes one of the easiest ways to give your muscles building material without forcing a heavy meal. Small amounts repeated, that is the signal your body responds to after 60. Food number 9, chickpeas. Per 100 grams dry, chickpeas provide roughly 19 grams of protein. Once cooked, they absorb water, so the number per 100 grams looks lower, but the protein you are eating does not disappear. What matters is what reaches your muscles over the course of the day. Chickpeas offer more than protein alone. They also provide fiber, something eggs contain none of. And that fiber plays a real role in aging muscles by supporting steadier blood sugar, smoother digestion, and healthier gut bacteria. All of which influence how well your body uses the protein you eat. This is important after 60 because protein does not work in isolation. Your body needs a supportive digestive environment to absorb and use it efficiently. Chickpeas help create that environment. That is why they quietly support strength, even though they are rarely talked about in that way. To make chickpeas easier on digestion, preparation matters. If you cook them from dry, soak them overnight, then rinse and cook until they are soft. If you use canned chickpeas, rinse them well to remove excess sodium. From there, keep it simple. Blend them into a smooth hummus with olive oil and lemon. Stir them into soups or stews where they soften and almost disappear. Or roast them lightly with seasoning for a crunchy snack you can portion out through the day. If appetite is low, chickpeas work because you can add small amounts without feeling like you are sitting down to a large meal. Again, the goal is not volume. The goal is repeatable protein your body can actually use. Food number 8, quinoa. Per 100 grams uncooked, quinoa provides about 14 grams of protein. Once it is cooked, the weight increases because of water, so the protein per 100 grams appears lower. But the total protein in a normal serving is what truly matters. Quinoa stands out because it is one of the few plant foods that contains a complete set of essential amino acids. That means your muscles can actually use it efficiently to repair and rebuild, which becomes more important after 60 when the body is less forgiving of poor quality protein. Many older adults eat enough calories but miss key building blocks. Quinoa helps close that gap without forcing large portions. It supports strength quietly and steadily, especially for people who no longer tolerate heavy meats well or want lighter meals that still do real work. The simplest way to make quinoa stick as a habit is preparation. Always rinse it well before cooking. It has a natural coating that can taste bitter if skipped. Cook it in a flavorful liquid like low-sodium broth instead of plain water so it feels like real food, not a chore. Then use it in meals you already recognize. Add it to a warm bowl with vegetables. Stir it into soup. Use it as a side dish the way you would use rice, but with a stronger protein profile. If you want to boost its effect, pair quinoa with another easy protein like Greek yogurt on the side or a soft egg on top. Perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. Small portions repeated send a signal your muscles can still respond to. Food number 7, pumpkin seeds. Per 100 grams, pumpkin seed kernels deliver about 30 grams of protein. That makes them extremely dense. You do not need a large portion to get a meaningful protein boost, which is exactly what matters after 60 when appetite is often smaller. But protein is only part of their value. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in minerals many older adults run low on, especially magnesium and zinc. These minerals support muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and recovery. When they are low, muscles fatigue faster and feel weaker even if you think you are eating enough. Pumpkin seeds work best when used as an add-on, not as a main dish. Choose raw or dry roasted unsalted seeds whenever possible. Heavily salted mixes can quietly turn a good habit into a sodium problem, especially if you are watching blood pressure. Use pumpkin seeds like a finishing touch. Sprinkle them over Greek yogurt, add them to oatmeal. Toss them onto cooked vegetables. Blend a spoon into a smoothie. If chewing tougher foods is difficult, grind the seeds lightly and stir them into softer foods. You still get the protein and minerals without stressing your jaw or digestion. Once again, the pattern holds. Small amounts, easy to repeat, quietly effective for maintaining strength after 60. Information like this about protein is rarely explained clearly to people over 60. If you found this helpful, tap the share button and send it to a friend or family member. One small action from you could help them keep their legs stronger and steadier. Food number 6, tempeh. Per 100 grams, tempeh provides roughly 19 grams of protein. What makes tempeh especially relevant after 60 is not just the number, but how the protein is delivered. Tempeh is made from whole soybeans that have been fermented, and that fermentation matters. For many older adults, fermented foods feel lighter on the stomach and are easier to digest. When digestion is smoother, protein absorption improves, and that directly affects muscle maintenance. Tempeh is also a complete protein, meaning it contains the essential amino acids your muscles need to repair and stay strong. This becomes critical as the body ages and becomes less efficient at recycling muscle tissue. Giving your muscles the full set of building blocks helps slow that decline. The easiest way to start is simple and controlled. Slice tempeh thin and pan-sear it with a small amount of olive oil. Add tamari or a squeeze of lemon for flavor. You can also crumble it into a stir-fry, soup, or vegetable skillet so it blends into meals you already eat. If you are new to tempeh, start small. A few bites at first is enough. Let your digestion adjust before increasing portions. One important safety note matters here. If you have a history of thyroid issues or take medications that interact with soy, it is wise to speak with your clinician before making tempeh a regular habit. The goal is steady progress, not rushing. Used correctly, tempeh becomes another quiet, repeatable way to feed your muscles without overwhelming your appetite. Food number 5, spirulina. Per 100 grams, spirulina powder contains roughly 57 grams of protein. That number is striking, but it comes with an important context. Spirulina is extremely concentrated, which means it is not meant to be eaten in large portions. Its real value after 60 is how easily it can be added without cooking, chewing, or increasing meal size. For older adults with low appetite or fatigue around eating, this matters more than almost anything else. Spirulina delivers protein in a form that requires almost no effort from your digestive system. You are not sitting down to a heavy plate. You are adding a small amount that quietly raises your daily protein intake. This supports muscle maintenance without triggering discomfort or fullness that makes people skip meals later. The right way to use spirulina is with restraint. Consistency matters far more than quantity. Add a small spoon to a smoothie with ingredients that soften the taste, such as banana, berries, or cocoa. You can also stir a small amount into oatmeal after it is cooked, so heat does not damage its structure. Quality matters here. Choose spirulina that is third-party tested for purity. Because it is concentrated, contamination matters more. This is not a trendy supplement or a shortcut. It is simply a dense protein source that works when chewing is hard and appetite is limited. Used correctly, spirulina becomes another quiet tool that supports strength without demanding more from your body. Food number 4: hemp seeds. Per 100 grams, whole hemp seeds provide roughly 31 grams of protein. This puts them firmly in the high-density category, which is exactly what matters for older adults who cannot or do not want to eat large portions. Hemp seeds deliver meaningful protein in a very small volume, and their mild flavor and soft texture make them far easier to tolerate than tougher, chewier foods. After 60, texture matters almost as much as nutrition. When chewing becomes tiring or appetite fades, people unconsciously eat less protein. Hemp seeds solve that problem quietly. They increase nutritional value without increasing the feeling of effort at a meal. That is why they work so well for maintaining strength over time. Using hemp seeds is intentionally simple. Add a spoon to Greek yogurt, sprinkle them over cooked vegetables, stir them into oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie. One important detail matters here. Hemp seeds should not be cooked at high heat. High temperatures can damage their structure. They work best when added after cooking as a topping or mix-in. For people with low appetite, hemp seeds are a quiet win. You are not forcing yourself to eat more food. You are simply making the food you already eat work harder for your muscles. Small amounts, repeated consistently, send a signal your body can still respond to after 60. Food number 3: seitan. Per 100 grams, seitan usually falls in the high teens to mid-20s for protein, depending on how it is prepared and how much water it holds. What makes seitan stand out is protein density. It is made from vital wheat gluten, which means most of what you are eating is concentrated protein. For many older adults, that density matters because you can get a meaningful protein intake without needing a large portion. Seitan also has a firm, meat-like texture, which can make meals feel more satisfying for people who are cutting back on heavier meats but still want something substantial on the plate. That psychological satisfaction matters more than most people realize, especially when appetite is lower and meals need to feel worth eating. To make seitan work instead of turning dry and unpleasant, preparation is key. Slice it thin and pan-sear it with a small amount of olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Use it in a stir-fry, add it to a vegetable bowl, or layer it into a simple sandwich. For better protein utilization, pair seitan with foods rich in vitamin C, such as bell peppers, tomatoes, or a squeeze of lemon. This helps support absorption and muscle use. One safety note cannot be skipped. Seitan is not appropriate if you have celiac disease, gluten intolerance, or know that gluten triggers symptoms for you. In that case, skip it entirely. There are plenty of other options on this list that support strength without risk. When used appropriately, seitan becomes another efficient tool for delivering protein without overwhelming appetite or digestion. Food number 2: Parmesan cheese. Per 100 grams, Parmesan typically delivers around 30 to mid-30 grams of protein, depending on the exact type and aging process. What makes Parmesan different from many other cheeses is how aging changes its protein structure. During aging, proteins are partially broken down, which often makes Parmesan easier to digest than people expect, especially after 60 when digestion is slower and less forgiving. This is where Parmesan becomes surprisingly useful. It is extremely protein-dense, so you do not need a large serving. A small amount can meaningfully raise the protein content of a meal. That matters when appetite is low and large portions feel heavy. Parmesan is not meant to be eaten as a main food. It is a tool, a way to strengthen the meals you already eat without increasing volume. The smart way to use Parmesan is simple. Grate a small amount over roasted vegetables. Stir it into soups. Sprinkle it over a warm grain bowl. Fold it into eggs, if you still enjoy eggs and want a stronger protein signal from the same habit. Its strong flavor helps make simple foods more appealing, which can quietly improve overall intake when eating feels like effort. One caution matters here. Parmesan can be high in sodium. If you are managing blood pressure or following a sodium restriction, use smaller amounts and balance it with fresh, lower sodium foods throughout the day. And if dairy does not agree with you, this is optional. The strength of this list is choice. Parmesan works because it delivers high-quality protein in small, repeatable doses when used thoughtfully. Food number 1, dried fish powder. This is the option almost no one over 60 is using. Yet it may be one of the most effective ways to add high-quality protein when chewing is difficult, appetite is low, or full meals feel overwhelming. In clinical nutrition, concentrated fish protein is often used when someone needs strong protein support but cannot tolerate large portions. This is not a trendy supplement. It is simply lean fish that has been dried and finely ground. When water is removed from lean fish, what remains is an extremely concentrated protein source. Per 100 grams, true dried fish powder can contain 60 to 80 grams of protein, depending on moisture and processing. That is a higher protein density than almost anything else on this list. Always check the label, because even small differences in water content can change the number significantly. What makes this powerful after 60 is how easy it is to use. Because it is a powder, it blends into foods you already eat without changing your routine. A small amount can be stirred into soup, mixed into stew, folded into mashed vegetables, or added to savory oatmeal right after cooking so it dissolves smoothly. For many older adults, this solves a real problem. It adds protein without requiring chewing, without increasing meal size, and without creating the fatigue that makes people skip meals later. There are important safety notes here. Choose a food-grade product from a reputable source. Avoid versions with added salt, artificial flavoring, or heavy preservatives. If you have a fish allergy, skip this completely. If you are sensitive to stronger flavors, start small. A little goes a long way. Used correctly, dried fish powder becomes one of the simplest ways to protect muscle strength when eating feels like work and consistency matters most. This dried fish powder may sound unfamiliar to many people, but it is a quiet secret used by many nutrition experts. Have you ever tried using any powdered food to increase your protein intake? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is where many people over 60 make a quiet but costly mistake. They see a list like this and try to fix everything with one large, heavy dinner. The body does not work that way anymore. Research and clinical experience show that aging muscle responds better when protein is spread across the day. Breakfast, midday, evening. Smaller signals, repeated, give your muscles more chances to repair and hold on to strength. After 60, large portions often backfire, digestion slows, appetite drops. One big protein meal can leave you uncomfortable, fatigued, or skipping the next meal entirely. Small portions work better because they are easier to tolerate and easier to repeat. That repetition is not a detail. It is the mechanism. Muscles respond to regular building signals, not occasional overload. This is also why pairing protein with simple movement matters. Your body needs a reason to use the protein you eat. Even light activity sends that message. A daily walk, a few gentle chair stands, standing up and sitting down with control. These movements tell your muscles that the protein coming in has a purpose. Without that signal, much of it goes unused. Consistency beats extremes every time at this stage of life. Muscle does not disappear overnight, and it does not rebuild overnight either. The people who keep their strength after 65 are rarely doing anything dramatic. They are eating manageable amounts of protein throughout the day. They are moving a little every day, and they are doing it week after week. That is how independence is protected. As we wrap this up, I want you to hear this clearly. The goal was never to memorize a list. The goal is to keep your legs strong, your balance steady, and your independence intact for as long as possible. Strength after 60 is not about extremes or perfection. It is about giving your body the right signals consistently in a way it can actually handle. Here is a simple action plan you can start today. Pick just one food from this list, not 5, not 10, 1. Add it this week in a way that feels easy. Spread protein across your day instead of forcing it into one heavy meal. Eat according to your appetite and your ability to chew and digest. Then stay with it for a few weeks. Muscle does not disappear overnight, and it does not rebuild overnight either. The people who stay strong after 65 are the ones who repeat small, smart habits long enough for their body to respond. You still have more control than you think. Your muscles are listening. They just need the right material and a reason to use it. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these foods feels easiest for you to start with? And tell me where you are watching from. If this helped you see your health differently, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next steps that help you stay strong, steady, and independent.